Welcome back to the Sims resource. Today we're going to be renovating a starter home. Well, I guess less renovating and more demolishing. This is the semi-iconic, at least to me, the Crick Cabana lot in Willow Creek, and boy, have I played a great many starter households in this lot, and I was getting really sick of it, and I was like, fine, I'm gonna make a starter home, and I'm gonna make it my way, and I did that. I kept within the budget that my Sims started with. Uh, After buying the house, and then just kind of made and lost money as I sold or added different things. It definitely takes a very different shape from how I originally intended it to be. I didn't know what I was doing. Let's put it that way. I was figuring it out as I went. And so as you can see, I went with just two boxes connected to each other with a big old front door. I actually ended up keeping the big old front door, which is kind of shocking because it takes up a lot of space, but I liked it, and I was like, I'm keeping it, and no one can stop me, including myself. So here I am on the floor plan. This floor plan is going to change like 3 more times because I figured out that it is deceptively harder than you may think to come up with a good floor plan for a starter home in this game. It's just really hard, especially if you want to fit a double bed of any kind in the bedrooms. That's what really kept stopping me. I know I haven't actually really done any, I guess, severely tiny homes yet, and let me tell you, it's going to be a very hard day when I do, because I had such a hard time figuring out how the living area was going to be laid out versus, like, the bedroom versus everything else I wanted to fit in, because I actually ended up having 2 bedrooms, but then I was like, how am I going to fit the bathroom? And, you know, that's how it goes, but I was just having a real hard time with building. But I figured it out eventually, and that's what matters. So here I am. I'm just reconfiguring the kitchen again. This is also not the final build. I don't know, I just kind of thought I'd include some of these like attempts just to show that sim building is something that I've been doing for many years now, and I'm still just okay at it. I guess, okay, just okay so you're not fair, but you know, it's just supposed to show you that, like, you know, the final products you see on the gallery or, you know, from people who build and like have downloadable lots for you to download. There's a lot of work that goes into this, and it's a lot harder than I think we all like to think. I'm sure, you know, if you've ever tried to build a whole lot, it's gonna be very overwhelming unless you build them every day. And so, I don't know. I just like leaving this stuff in to be like, hey, look, it can be difficult. Especially floor plans. Those are always the bane of my existence, and I always like think, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna make a like floor plan super easy, and I found that for regular size houses, that's what I call them, I guess medium size houses, I can do floor plans pretty easily, but easily is relative, but more easily. And then on floor plans like this one, I actually have a very hard time figuring it out. So here I am, just moving all the kitchen stuff over to this area. I wasn't actually sure if I wanted the kitchen to be in the entryway, but I put it in there, and then I was like, actually, I think it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Ended up adding another countertop on the end and using move objects to fit it in there. The door is still functional, Sims can still get in and out, so don't even worry about that. As you can see, I left this weird hallway area in the back of the house, and I do end up incorporating that into the rooms, so don't worry, I don't just leave a random hall area. I was thinking of leaving that open and then just having like a bathroom on the right and a bedroom on the left, but decided to make better use of the space, because even though I'm not doing a particular like tiny home challenge, I was just thinking, I don't know, I wanted something that made more sense with the space as opposed to just like, oh, I'm just gonna slap all this stuff in here. But as you can see, I actually managed to fit a full-size sofa and a full-size TV console, which I wasn't originally anticipating being able to do, so I'm pretty happy about that. And then here I am just kind of refining the entry points between both rooms, and adding a Jack and Jill bathroom, which I honestly think was a pretty good idea, because it allowed there to be 2 bedrooms and also a working bathroom. Though I will say, if this were real life, I'd be pretty annoyed about having people have to go through my bedroom every time they wanted to pee. Though, I guess the Sims doesn't really matter. They don't really care that much about decorum. So here I just added a little dining table with 3 chairs, because I figured 3 is about the maximum number of Sims you could fit in this household based on the beds I put down, but I guess if you put a bunch of bunk beds, you could have more. But as far as I go, I just made this house for 3 Sims. I guess in theory, like parents and a teen girl sim, but obviously it could be redecorated to suit any kind of needs that I would have. And that's the good thing about a starter home. And I, again, keeping it under budget, I went with a desk. I actually found out a lot of the high school years furniture is on the cheap end of the game, which is exciting for me because I think it's a lot of the prettiest stuff in the game. when it comes to just aesthetics that I enjoy in the furniture that comes with packs. And yeah, here I'm just reconfiguring the bathroom a little bit because I was having trouble fitting everything I needed to. I don't know if you guys have ever done the 4-tile bathroom challenge, but I have never successfully accomplished it as a full bath. I've obviously been able to do it with just a sink and a toilet, but I've never been able to do it with a shower without having to use the BB Move Objects cheat. So I'd be happy to know if there's any way around that. Here I am just playing with color schemes for the bedroom. And I'm going with something neutral because in my mind I'm like, this is a starter home, and like I want it to be able to suit multiple different Sims, you know, pretty easily without me having to change too much. So I just made it like a neutrally color and I added a light green wall. And then here I'm just tiling the bathroom. It tends to be the easier part of my builds just because bathrooms are kind of simple. And so I wanted to keep it just as simple as I was feeling. And then I also added a mirror because I realized I hadn't added a mirror in any of the bedrooms. I also added this cool like storage cabinet to the smaller bedroom because it was obviously lacking some stuff, and some little wall art to give it some personality. But obviously, again, can switch this out pretty easily if I decide to move a different type of sim into the room. And then here I am just getting a paint color. I went with the light blue-gray, I guess would be the color, just because it matches the bedspread. And here I am just adding some floor to the house, and also a computer to the desk. It's the cheap computer. I could have spent more on it, but I wanted to save the simoleons I had left. I think I have about 3,000 left right here for decoration purposes and landscaping, which I knew wouldn't be that expensive, but you know, I just wanted to be careful. And also, yeah, I didn't realize you could balance stuff on the room dividers, like this plant that I balanced up there, so I'm pretty happy about that. I really enjoy it. And I think that using the room divider here, I was afraid was going to make it feel too divided, but I think it actually provides the correct amount of division between the like dining area and living area without making it feel like super cut off like a wall would. So I don't know, I don't use a lot of half walls, but I thought this was a good choice. I also added this little ottoman that looks, to me in real life, looks very movable, like how I could just pick this up and shift it around so that you know, the ottoman can be used by anyone anywhere. And here I am, I was thinking about painting. I actually went with this split design where it's mostly gray and then up top it's white. And then here I'm just adding some paintings just to kind of jazz up the rooms a little bit. I was thinking about some autumn paintings or even this big flower painting, which I thought was really cute, but I didn't finish it with these leaves. I just thought they matched the vibe of the room, and I like having two matching paintings next to each other. I think it just feels super classy to me. And again, because I had a little bit of simoleons left over, I ended up adding some closet units because I felt like the house was looking a little empty without something in the room when it came to clothing storage. I mean, like, you know, Sims are changing their clothes every day, and I just wanted to jazz it up, and plus it allowed me to add these little decorations, and I thought they were really cute. Also a rug under the bed just to tie the room together a little bit more, and also some trinkets on the desk. Again, a lot of my build philosophy is based on clutter. Clutter is the end-all be-all of most of my builds. It's just really important to me, and I think it really makes the spaces feel much more lived in, and like, oh, like a person lives here, a sim lives here, as opposed to being super generic, which I guess is sort of the point of a starter home, but for me at least, moving some clutter around is really not a big deal, as opposed to like, you know, having to build the whole home from scratch. So I don't know, I think it's just easier for me to build when I have a family in mind, and so I kind of just had this fictional family in my head and went based off that. Oh yeah, and I also added this plant to the bedroom because I run a lot of plants inside. Now that I have like 2,000 simoleons left, I thought about adding some upper cabinets, but the tall wall height, it looked kind of silly, and I left the tall wall height on the entire time, which is a real accomplishment for me because I honestly wanted to make it shorter for most of the build, but I left it as was because I thought that it would be closer to renovating the original build as opposed to getting rid of it entirely, even though it's literally what I did. But I don't know, I wanted to kind of honor it. Here I am just redoing the front patio because I just thought it could use some more balancing than what I'd originally done with it. So I'm also just adding on some roofs. This is my very traditional roofing method. It's pretty simple. And then I'm just picking a color. The color for the roof actually took me a long time. Oh, I guess I'm doing fences first, but yeah, I'm adding some safety fences for around the little patio area, just so, you know, no trips and falls, and adding some flooring. And then yeah, eventually I'm gonna start looking for roof colors, and I had a real problem with this. I was so certain. I was like, oh, the roof's gonna be like perfect color, and it was actually much harder than I thought to find the perfect roof color. Okay, it's funny, watching this back, I don't mind the brick and siding as much as I thought I did at the moment, but I ended up going with plain siding instead of anything fancy schmancy like the brick. I don't know, I probably could have just went with the siding and the brick, but I don't know, I wasn't sure. I actually don't usually build with, I build a lot with these windows and doors, but I don't usually build with these windows and doors in this swatch, so yeah, I don't know, maybe I just got a little stressed out about it, but anyway, I kept building, as you kind of have to do once you're this far along. And I eventually went with, I think, either a dark gray or not quite black, but one of the darker shades of the roof coloring. I guess shingling would be the word. Not sure. I also end up removing the decorations from the house because I fakely could not handle looking at them any longer when I was trying to do the exterior decorating. So that also helps, just getting rid of the decoration.